Welcome to today's edition of Your Questions Answered with Father Gruner. I'm John Veneri, and this program, we take your questions and we answer them. If you want to contact us with a question, the email address is questions@thefatimacenter.com. And today, and maybe even over the next couple of programs, we're going to be talking about the Old Latin Mass, the Latin Tridentine Mass, because ever since the time of the introduction of the new Mass in 1970, there has been a kind of a controversy regarding the Old Mass. Is a priest allowed to say it? May a priest celebrate the Old Latin Mass? Because for a long time, there was the idea that the Old Latin Mass was forbidden. So there's a number of things we can talk about with this program. And so how would you answer the first question, Father? Does a priest need special permission to celebrate the Old Latin Mass?
Despite what people think, and despite even what some bishops, even some Vatican officials might say, no. How can I be so sure?
No,
you don't need special permission. And so, but to say something like that might be too shocking for people to say, who is he? Is he the Pope now? I have no pretensions of being the Pope. But we do have what the Church has taught on the subject, and the Church has taught very solemnly and very formally on this, that and over not just the Council of Trent, you'll find it in the Council of Florence, for example. You'll find it even in in other places as well, and you'll find it in the decree of St. Pius V. St. Pius V says no one of any rank whatsoever can forbid a priest from saying this Mass, or and if he does, it doesn't count for anything. So when people say, well, and I'm paraphrasing. I wish I had the formal language here, but in the bull Quo Primum, it's at the very end of the document, and that was published in 1570. Now, but you have to understand the history of this document. It goes back to the decree of the Council of Trent, which says in Session 7 on the sacraments in general, that if anyone says that a pastor of any rank whatsoever can change the rites, the received and approved rites of the sacraments, into a new rite, let that person who says that be anathema. Let him be kicked out of the church. He doesn't have the Catholic faith. And so what the bull Quo Primum is saying is, this rite, which I attach this document to, is the received and approved rite.
And we're talking about the Old Latin Mass.
The Old Latin Mass.
Yeah.
That this is it. What this council said cannot be changed by a pastor of any rank whatsoever. And that's what any rank whatsoever is the proper translation of the Latin, meaning it includes the Pope. That the Pope is the pastor of pastors. He's obviously a pastor, and he's the highest rank of pastor, but any rank whatsoever includes the Pope. Not even the Pope can change the old Mass into a new and different Mass. That's what the Council of Trent says. And if you say that the Pope can change that, you are not Catholic. You don't have the faith. This is a matter of the faith. So how we know things, how we know in a controversy, if you say, look, no, this paper is 8.5 by 11, I say, no, it's 8.5 by 10.5. Well, you pull out a ruler and you check it. Oh no, you're right or I'm right, as the case may be. But in theology, how do we know? Because theology is what God has revealed to us. And so how do we know that something is true? It's because the church, as the Scripture tells us, is the pillar and ground of truth. The church defines things for us. This came from God. This is what God says. But say, well, you got this person, this Pope, that Pope. What has been defined by the church? That is the final standard rule that everything has to be measured against. This has been defined by the Catholic Church as you cannot forbid this Mass and you cannot change it into a new Mass. And that's defined. That's the point. And that's why you don't need permission as a priest to say this Mass, or for that matter, for a layperson to go to that Mass.
So really, I think we'll be stepping into the next program here, but just as a little hors d'oeuvre of it, we could say then actually the priest and the Catholic actually have a duty to attend the Old Mass.
Correct.
And not this new construction that even Cardinal Ratzinger called a bane on-the-spot fabrication.
Cardinal Ratzinger became Pope Benedict XVI.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes, we'll talk about that, I'm sure.
Okay, so we'll talk about that in the next program. Stay with us.